Hello, everyone. Welcome in today to Humanities at Play. Thanks for joining us. My name is Kathleen Kuo, and I am a program manager with Nevada Humanities, our state's council partner, the National Endowment for the Humanities. With Humanities at Play, our goal is to pair gameplay and other interactive activities with thoughtful discussions about the humanities and how they enrich and shape our everyday lives. Throughout the end of 2024, Nevada Humanities is producing a series of Humanities at Play events that are part of United We Stand Connecting Through Culture, which is a joint initiative of the National Endowment for the Humanities and the National Endowment for the Arts to leverage the arts and humanities to combat hate-motivated violence through programs that deepen public understanding of and contextualize community, state, and national history, foster cross-cultural understanding, empathy, and community resilience, and promote information literacy. Today, it's my pleasure to have with us on our stream Dr. Emma Frances Bloomfield from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Emma, how are you doing today?
Hi, Kathleen. I'm great. Thanks. How are you?
I'm good. It's always so much fun when we have new people on our program. So thank you for agreeing to join us. I really can't wait
Excited to be
to,
here.
yeah, I think we're gonna have such a fun time. We're gonna learn more about your research, play a very cool game, and it's gonna be really great. So for those of you who don't know Emma, I'm gonna read her bio for you. She is an associate professor of communication studies at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, who studies science and environmental communication. She is the author of Science versus Story, Narrative Strategies for Science Communicators, which is published by University of California Press and just came out, was it a couple weeks, last week? Did it come out last
Last
week?
Tuesday.
Last
Yeah.
Tuesday. It's a brand new book. We get to hear all about it later. And she also published Communication Strategies for Engaging Climate Skeptics, Religion and the Environment. That was published in 2019 by Routledge. She is the founder and director of UNLV's Public Communication Initiative and the Greenspun College of Urban Affairs that conducts workshops and trainings on communicating science to the public. So today, Emma and I are going to play about an hour of a game called Storyteller together, find a good time to stop for a 5-minute break, and then we're going to reconvene for a one-on-one conversation and Q&A with Emma for the remainder of our time. For those of you who have never heard of Storyteller, I think you're in for a treat. It's going to be very fun, and I hope that all of you chime in the chat about, helping us out, your thoughts on the
Yes, please.
puzzles. So this game is a puzzle game that was designed by Daniel Ben-Mergui and published by Annapurna Interactive. That was released last year in March 2023. In this game, we're going to form story narratives by placing characters and scenes into picture book stylized panels. And depending on how we arrange these characters and scenes, the story and the motivations adapt accordingly, which is very cool. So I think there's more than one right answer for some of these puzzles that we're going to encounter. And then they're going to affect the outcome of later panels later on in the game. So I think being wrong, if there is a wrong, is kind of half the fun of the game. And I think this is going to be a really fun lead into the second half of our program where we're going to ask Emma some more about controversial narratives, storytelling, science communication, all the good stuff. So again, the beauty of Twitch is getting to interact with our chat. So please don't be shy about sharing any questions or comments or observations you might have today in the chat for me or Emma. So I'm going to get the game started. And super excited to play this. Emma, while I pull this up, would you mind sharing with us? I'm curious, what is your experience with games and gaming?
Yeah, I would consider myself a gamer, mostly in the sense of tabletop board games. I really love playing games, played a lot of card games with my family growing up. But I also have gotten into video games and play them with my husband. We play a lot of couch co-op games and puzzle games. So I'm hoping that some of my previous work in puzzles will be useful here. But yeah, I would consider myself a light gamer, I would say. I'm not familiar with Twitch, though, and watching, gaming kind of live in that sense. But yeah, I'm really excited to experience this platform and try it out
Yeah.
live in front of everybody.
Okay, I have the game up, so let me know if this is too loud or quiet for you, but let's get started. I love that you love tabletop games. That's great.
Storyteller, a book about building stories. At the end of this book
I love the narrator.
lies a crown. It is bestowed only to the finest storytellers of the realm. Every page is empty, save for a title. It is your duty to fill these pages with the most captivating tales. complete this book and prove yourself worthy of the title of Storyteller.
Okay, we'll do our best. I don't know if we can complete the whole book today, but we'll get through as much as we can.
Oh my
for the
goodness,
next
that would
hour.
be, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Life and Death.
Oh,
Life
okay.
and death.
Chapter 1.
Adam starts alone, finds love, and dies happy.
So I think this is kind of the tutorial. It's kind of telling us where to put everyone, but
So we're dropping Adam into the scene.
yes. So he starts
Aw.
alone, I know. And welcome in 13 Wonders. Thanks for being here. He finds love. There we go. Oh, dies happy. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
There we go.
Okay, next.
Uh-oh.
Eve dies heartbroken.
Oh, okay. Maybe we should start with...
So now we can drag
Yeah.
the scenes.
So maybe they start out in love, and then we have
Okay.
to have a death scene at the
Oh, no.
end. I know. And I'm gonna be really curious to get your thoughts on this game afterwards, because I think it's so cool how we're like telling stories through this, and everything changes.
Yeah, it sort of tells you the resolution, right? How the last scene should be.
Yes.
Okay, so, oh, I see. So Eve. Okay, and then Eve has to die.
Yeah. There we
Goodness, okay. Wow.
Like these
It's
traditions.
fun how just 3 short panels can tell a lot of story.
Right. Yeah, something similar as simple as love and death, and that's all you
Seeing
need.
the
Yeah.
ghost
Ooh.
of a lover.
Oh, goodness.
Okay. So, trying to think, how would this start? I think the story is Eve is going to see Adam's ghost, or maybe vice versa.
Yeah, maybe we choose, maybe?
So maybe
Depending on who dies.
Yeah, maybe they're in love first. Oh,
Okay.
once again. Okay, and then who should pass away?
Let's have Adam pass away.
Okay. Here's
And then Eve,
let's see.
death
This
again.
work? Oh, how do we get the ghost part? No.
Oh.
Okay, so this is the puzzle part. Death.
Could we do another love scene instead of a death scene?
Oh.
Oh, she misses him.
Oh, there we go. Oh.
Oh, okay.
Good call.
So if you switch them, does it still work? If you switch the
Yeah, let's see.
who dies?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Great.
So, do you want Eve or Adam to be shocked? This might come up later.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, we can leave it like this.
Okay.
This looks good. Eve the ghost. I like that.
Yeah. Miracle.
Heartbreak with a happy ending.
All right.
Oh, we have revive as an option.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
This is a really cool. This is like a puzzle game that I'm not used to. I think it's very cool how they created this. So maybe.
Really clever.
So they're in love. So we'll do that.
That seems to be the way all these are starting. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And then maybe one of them passes away. I'll put Adam here. And I think we need... Should we do revive and then love? Or...
Yeah, see if we can revive Adam. And then they can be in love again. Hey.
So this game...
So I'm curious.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, if I'm curious, if you move now the revive away, does then he become a ghost?
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, that's so clever. Okay, very cool.
Yeah. Oop. Let's do revive. Eve here. Yeah, she's like, I'm still
Oh.
living. I'm fine.
She's like, I don't need to revive. Okay, very clever. Oh, I like this game.
This game took 15 years to complete, I think. So,
Whoa.
the creator, he has a really interesting story. If you look him up online, he's from
The ceremony.
Argentina. And I
Okay.
think he gave up on this game at some point, and then he came back and just finished it with like a small team. But it's super
Seeing
cool
the
how
ghost of a lover.
like programming this and seeing how the stories
Yeah.
fit together.
You'd have to program every possible combination someone would put in. That
Right.
would take forever.
The ceremony.
How do I get to the next part? Oh, here we are. Broken Hearts.
Hearts.
You like the different animation, Silver? I do too. Yeah, they're very
A
cute.
heartbreak is healed.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Oh, Edgar.
yeah, I recognize this is Edgar Allan Poe, maybe, but I don't.
Yeah,
I know
Lenora.
Lenora.
That's from one of his poems, right?
Is that the Raven, maybe, or no?
Yeah.
I don't know if
Something like
Bernardi
yeah, I
is
think
one.
so.
Okay. Oh, this is hard. Okay, so maybe there's a wedding first? Or no, we should get married.
Maybe Edgar and Lenora?
Yeah, let's do that. And then
Aw.
death. Maybe she passes away and then he finds new love with
Gets
one of these
remarried.
people. Yeah.
Okay.
Who would you like Edgar to marry?
Can he marry Bernard? Does the game allow?
Let's see. They can. Yeah.
Hey!
Without
Oh, I
any-
love that.
Yeah, very
Huh.
cool. What happens if we swap? Interesting. Interesting that you put Isabel here, even though she's not
Yeah.
Edgar. You put...
Oh, I see. But then the crown doesn't show up.
Yes. That's right.
Okay. But
Interesting.
can we do it without any deaths?
Oh, yeah. So, okay, how do we... If we do another wedding? I'm gonna take the whole way. Okay, how do we do this without any deaths?
Well, when you just had Edgar and Bernard up,
mhm.
and then his heart was broken
Oh, so
because he loves
Edgar.
Lenora.
Oh, okay. I see. So then maybe Bernard and Lenora? Oh no, but she loves
no.
Edgar. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
You found new love with
Isabel
Isabel.
to the rescue.
I love it. I
Cute.
love how it adapts based on who you change. Okay, dismay.
Rejected.
Are we getting any tips in the chat yet? People need to give us advice if we're going off,
Yeah.
off track.
Tell us if you have your own way to tell this story.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Isabel's face looks a little
Amnesia.
evil here. Yeah. So maybe
Oh, she does, doesn't she?
we'll have Edgar and Lenora again.
Mhm.
And then how do we get rejected? Maybe amnesia?
Okay, so they forget they're married,
Yeah.
and they marry somebody else.
Let's try Edgar and Isabel.
Oh no!
Oh, but then where does Lenora go? Can we just put her by herself?
She's pining for Edgar. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's so sad.
What happens if we put amnesia here? Can she forget?
Oh.
I'll go back. I think the
Oh, she
goal-
forgets the heartbreak.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Emma, do you play a lot of puzzle games?
Everyone rejects Edgar.
I would say yes. I mean, I play, in terms of board games, I like playing games like Sagrada is kind of a puzzle dice-based game. Co-op games, I play a lot of games with my husband where like you're two people trying to figure out a puzzle, like It Takes Two. I think I play a decent amount of those games, yeah. Nothing like this though. That's sort of like narrative style.
Yeah, and it's fun to play it with someone else and talk through all of these. So I'm glad you're here today. All right, what do you think? Everyone rejects Edgar.
Wow.
Maybe a bunch of weddings?
Right.
Can we have? Will this work?
Oh, but Lenora loves Edgar.
Yes. So how do we?
But if she was married to someone else, she might reject him.
Yeah. And where does Edgar go? Would we put Edgar here? Okay, so he's rejected.
Okay. And then Lenora would reject him too?
Let's try that. And then
So how do we get Bernard to reject him?
maybe either Isabel or Lenora have to pass away and marry Bernard.
Oh, okay.
Let's-
And then they can reject him.
Let's try that. Sorry, Edgar. We're so sorry. We have a
We're
question.
just following what the title says.
We have a question for you in the chat.
Yeah.
What is your favorite puzzle video game that you've played?
Yeah, this is a really good question. So the first one that comes to mind is It Takes Two. That was one my husband and I just finished recently. It's you're playing as a toy. You and your partner are sort of playing as a toy, and you're navigating this your house. You've been like shrunk down into a toy, and depending on the different skills that you have to navigate the space. So that's a really fun puzzle game because you're trying to figure out, who has to jump on this block, who has to go over here, how do you push things. So I think that's a pretty fun puzzle game that I just played. Like more of an adventure puzzle game, I would say.
I haven't played it
surviving
yet, but I've seen a
spouses,
lot of people,
find
especially couples, playing it on stream, which is
Yeah.
always fun to see.
Yeah, we're always on the lookout for couch co-ops. If you know a good one, pop it in the chat for us.
Yeah, share all of the good co-op games for Emma and her husband or friends. Surviving spouses find comfort. Who survived? Who survived the previous weddings?
Do we have to remember?
Let's see. So I think everyone broke up with Edgar. I think I had
Yeah.
Lenora pass. So maybe Isabel find comfort here. Stories can use fewer frames. That's good to know because I think part of the stress is thinking, how do we extend this to fill out all the frames? But
Yeah.
maybe we can do it less. Well, Edgar
But if
didn't.
Bernard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or do we have to do 2 separate weddings and then folks die and then remarry?
Yeah, let's.
Maybe it doesn't carry from the previous.
Yeah, I guess it didn't. So that's good. So maybe we have then 2 deaths and then the remaining pair fall in love.
Remarries.
Yeah, let's try that.
Okay.
I feel a little bit bad killing everyone off, but I think
know.
this is kind of
a lot of death and revival and
Yeah.
happening here. Oh.
Well, it's definitely a fairy tale trope.
Yes. Okay, so then Edgar and Isabel can get married.
Oh, in chat, welcome in. Hey, Dom. He writes, favorite couch co-op is Never Alone. I didn't know you could play that co-op, which I know Kathleen
Never
loves.
Alone.
Yeah. I have not finished that game, actually, but I do love
What is
it
that
conceptually.
game?
I believe this is the one that came out, oh gosh, over, I want to say like 10 years ago or before, but I believe this was written or created with Indigenous groups in Canada, maybe like First Nations, and it tells a story, like it's like an educational video game that I think you should definitely check out if you're interested in like
Never Alone. I will. Thank you.
Yeah, and tell me if I'm wrong, Dom, but I think that's one you're talking about. Also in chat, Silver says Unravel and Unravel 2 are good. You've heard good things about Brothers. Unravel is single player, but that sounds like a good puzzle game.
We did do Little Big Planet. I think that was that has like some kind of puzzle elements to it. That was really good. But Unravel, definitely check out. That sounds good.
Yeah.
It's Brothers isn't the one where the 2 people are in prison, right? Because Paul and I played that and it was very traumatizing.
Oh, no.
The ceremony.
I think you're right. I think I've seen that.
The ceremony.
Oh. Let's see if I can. I always forget how to navigate. Now we want chapter 3. There we go. Apparition.
Ooh, ghosts.
Yeah.
Edgar shocks himself.
Oh, interesting. How would you shock yourself? Maybe he forgot that he passed away?
Yeah, I forgot he's dead, so he sees his own ghost.
Let's try this.
Okay, this is an interesting premise. The ghost gets amnesia. Oh my gosh, I love that. Clever.
Smart. Oh yeah, so Never Alone is based in Alaska, but yes, there's unlockable ethnographic films that contextualize each level. I've been wanting to play that on stream, just finding the right guest eventually, hopefully.
Okay, I'm gonna write down Never Alone and Unravel.
Reunited.
Yes. And then Waffle Bro says A Way Out is the one with the 2 brothers in prison. I forget which one Brothers is.
Way Out, yeah, it was fun, but I mean, if you know the ending, I was just beside myself.
Oh, no. I don't know the ending.
Yeah, it's a difficult game to play.
Okay, and Dom also says A Way Out is so much fun. So, okay, I'll have to check that one out. Heartbroken spouses are united. Oh,
looks like there's Revive again here. We had a Revive before.
Okay, so we have Edgar and Lenore, so one will be heartbroken.
Okay.
This makes me wish that I read more Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, it's interesting that they picked Adam and Eve as like the tutorial, right? And now it's Edgar Allan Poe as a character.
Oh, it's not out. I thought that was it.
Oh no.
Oh, maybe.
They both have to be heartbroken.
Or maybe she has to. Can you have like a ghost marriage? Or
a ghost marriage? Oh my gosh! Can we try it?
Let's find out. So then.
Okay, ghost marriage. Here we come. Oh, okay, that's creepy. Yay! Oh,
But
wait.
it's not so they're not heartbroken. So maybe he comes back and then she passes away and then comes back.
Can you drag the panels since we want all those things to happen?
Yeah, let's see. So we wanted
because eventually they'll be reunited, but then there we go.
Okay, so I think then maybe he has to be heartbroken next.
Right, so then she has to die.
And then we have a revive.
Okay.
Let's see if this works.
I love the little sound effects when you drag
They're great.
everything in. Okay, clever. Oh, look, in the afterlife.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we tried that. So how would we make
did.
this? Can we have it without a revive?
Yeah, can we make Edgar not?
Yeah, so let's Edgar here, Lenora here.
Okay, and then Lenora not revive.
Okay. Oh, we can drag off. So let me do this. Let's try. Huh. I guess because he's not heartbroken yet.
Okay, so he still has to be revived and see that she's dead.
Yes.
And then die again?
Yeah, I love this. We're doing hard mode. So we did the easy one. Now to do the bonus version. Yeah.
So he needs to be revived.
Okay, here's Edgar.
And then see that she's dead.
But then he won't be in the afterlife.
Then he needs to die again?
I think then we...
There's not enough frames.
Yeah, let's see. So we can't revive. Wait, can I move this over? I can. So then he comes back.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Then he's
so then what if he dies? Okay, and then they get married.
Yay!
Oh, nice.
That
you
was some
solved that by
puzzling.
dragging it. That's good. That was tough.
It was, yeah. It was a lot of like, okay, do we have enough panels and how do we tell this?
Mm-hmm.
So
helps you with concise storytelling.
Yes. Calamity.
Oh, wow.
Heartbreak for everyone.
The narrator is great.
Yeah. If you cut him off at the beginning, when he's telling you about, Storyteller's game, and you like drag the page, he goes, I wasn't done yet. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, that's too funny.
Heartbreak for everyone. So I think we should start with the wedding. We'll do Bernard. I wonder, is Bernard a character from an Edgar, or is he just like there?
If someone knows, drop it in the chat, because I'm not familiar, but it would track narratively that Isabel and Bernard are from Edgar Allan Poe's universe, right?
Yes. Yeah, let us know in chat if you can look up, who Bernard and Isabel were, because I think we know Lenora.
With the slick back hair.
Yes. So I think we need a death here. Everyone's sad. So then maybe... So she's sad now.
Okay.
Maybe then she gets married to Edgar. Would that work?
Okay.
Like new
and
love?
then she could die, and Edgar's sad.
Oh, and then maybe
but then Bernard needs to be sad.
Yeah, can he come back?
And then see that she's dead. Lenore's dead.
Yeah, let's see. Good call.
Nice.
We're sorry, Bernard.
Heartbreak for everybody. This is making me think of the Fall of the House of Usher with the Poe theme.
Oh, heartbroken.
No. But happy. Okay.
We need a content warning on this
game.
Yeah.
I read somewhere online that the creator of this game was thinking about doing, eventually expanding this game so there'd be like DLC or like more stories.
Oh, fun.
I think that'd be really cool.
Absolutely. That'd be neat if you could kind of thematize it, right? Like buy a DLC around a kind of story or genre that you like or something.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
Maybe.
So then they spend a lot of time together, so they're old. Okay, cool.
I guess I can't drag. Can I do more love?
Oh my gosh.
So
this is precious. So then he's heartbroken because Edgar die?
Yeah. But then how would he die happy? Does Edgar come back? But then I would be sad that he died after Edgar came back. Well, I guess we can try it.
Yeah, because he needs... Yeah, because we need him to be happy, but then also die.
Yes. Can I do this? No, yeah, there's... Maybe instead of... What happens if
could we get rid of the third panel? Is that what you were doing? Maybe get rid of that.
Oops, can I move this one over?
So then it's implied that they had this nice, loving relationship.
Yes. Can I bring them back here?
Oh, there we go. Very nice.
Oh, but then Edgar is so sad at the end. I like this one, even though I like the introduction of the dog character.
Yeah, and the time passing is interesting too.
Okay, next.
Okay, wow, we are moving and grooving.
We are. Master puzzlers. Okay, now it's like a
poison.
Lenora drinks poison.
Okay. I mean, it's pretty straight. I would just put her with poison, but I don't think that's it. maybe
I guess she needs a motivation.
Right.
To drink the poison, right?
So maybe... Do we need a wedding? Maybe we don't need a wedding.
We might not. Poison.
Oh.
She doesn't want to drink poison, Kathleen.
Okay. So...
Someone needs to trick her into drinking poison?
Yeah. Do you think it could be poison to either get out of a marriage or poison because maybe she sees, Edgar and Bernard together and she's jealous?
Together?
Yeah. Maybe we could try that.
Okay. Jealousy angle?
Yes. Nope.
Oh.
So I'll do this. But then why would you... Oh, maybe it's at the end? Maybe she's sad.
Oh, because Edgar died?
Let's find out. Oh,
like a Romeo and Juliet situation?
This is really dark, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I guess that was... Yeah, poison had to be at the very end. Oh, Lenora.
Right.
Maybe she'll come back.
Don't do that for a man, Lenora.
Double poison.
Interesting.
Okay, we'll start with Edgar and...
So both of them have to die via poison?
Or maybe it could be the same person twice. We do have a revive. But yeah, this is very...
Gosh.
I'm surprised you don't...
That's gruesome.
I know. Surprised they didn't call this Romeo and Juliet. I felt like that would have been very
they could have done
apropos.
Romeo and Juliet characters instead.
So
could we borrow the same...
Yes.
Yeah, general structure of the previous one?
So maybe, Juliet or Lenora thinks Edgar passed away.
Okay.
Then we'll have a revive.
Glug, 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 glug. If folks can hear the,
lot of poison.
the sound. Oh, and then he sees Lenora's dead.
Yes. This is very grim, yeah.
And then he poisons. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Oh, someone drinks poison twice.
Oh, you were right.
So maybe Lenora comes back. I'm gonna swap them.
And then drinks poison again.
So sad.
Oh my gosh. Oh no. Who revived this poor woman?
I know. Definitely not me. Okay, haunt.
That sounds promising.
Isabel is haunted by her husband.
Oh, fight is a new one. So is wine. Interesting.
I like that.
Okay, so maybe they get married first.
Yeah, because it says husband. And then they have a fight?
Let's try that.
Oh no. Discord.
Oh, that sound. I'm gonna put her back. And then... what does wine look like?
Like someone drinking wine? That's nice.
Yeah. The game is clever. It is. I know, I love how they... This is kind of like a storybook come to life, which I absolutely love. So it's just so smart how they created this.
Super smart. Well, someone has to drink poison, right? For them to be a ghost.
Yes.
Because we only have... Poison's the only... Oh,
He's like,
okay.
why am I... Can I put you here?
He's not interested in that.
Okay, where would this come in? So they fought. Can maybe Edgar drinks wine? Can you drink both? No. Is this out of order?
Can the poison be put in the wine?
I don't think so. Yeah, it's only
No.
a scene.
Hmm.
Maybe the fight comes after the wine? We do that? Oh!
Oh.
And then... Oh, but then how...
Oh, she's gonna put it in his wine. Can you drag the wine
Yeah,
down?
can I do this?
Ah.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, wow, did you see what happened when I changed the order?
Yeah. That's so clever.
Okay. And then... How does she... Maybe she's drinking wine and...
He has to come back and haunt her.
Yes.
So they have another fight or another wedding? I don't know.
Let's see what happens. Oh!
What a noise.
Yeah. If we put wedding here, will it work? Yeah, so I think either wedding or fight would work for that last scene.
Nice. Okay, so different scenes. He's like hissing at her.
It's so clever
Okay.
how when you drag it around, everything changes. Very cool.
So if you take the fight out, does she then not want to poison him? Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, very
Yeah.
clever.
I'll put it back. I think the game is like, no.
Oh, sorry. I was just experimenting a little bit.
Perfect. Envy.
Murder of jealousy.
Oh, Lenora's back. So let's do Edgar and Lenora. A lot of poison.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
So poison in the wine again?
Yeah, so maybe. Can we do this? Oh, she's scheming.
Yeah, she is. She's staring at that wine, the poison, very intently.
Oh, is that? Can we get it? So.
But she doesn't have the intention to poison anyone yet.
Yeah. How do we get Lenora to drink it? Can we? Can we swap order? No. How do we get this to happen?
Well, can Isabel be rejected by Edgar? Maybe that will motivate her to do
Okay,
something
let's
with
try
that
that.
poison.
I'll move this here. So here's Edgar and... Okay, so now she's angry.
There we go. Okay, so now she's mad.
Or maybe I'll do wine here. There we go. Okay,
Ooh,
now she's
okay.
angry.
Hey.
But
And now
everyone,
she's just drinking wine.
everyone meets their demise.
Oh gosh, everyone has to die? Okay.
And he...
Oh,
Oh, maybe they're... How do we get more poison? I don't know how to get Isabel and Edgar to both have... I guess there's only enough wine or poison to go in wine once. Okay.
Oh,
Then
okay. That's good. So he drank the poison because he's sad.
yes.
Oh, and now she's sad. Okay.
That was unintentional. I guess it worked.
We very quickly jump to poison here
Yes.
when relationships don't work out.
I think in middle school I read something by Agatha Christie that had arsenic in it, and for like months after would be love chatting about like arsenic and cyanide. We're very dark back then.
Oh my goodness.
This is the final chapter. Maybe we will finish this. Look at us.
Wait, this is the last one?
I think there might be some
The
bonus content.
ceremony.
Maybe this is the first book. Maybe there's a lot more.
Oh, okay.
Let's find out.
Which becomes the mirror's
Oh, I love
favorite.
this. Witch and
Oh,
Snowy.
now it's Snow White.
Yeah.
Okay, cute.
Okay, which becomes the mirror's favorite?
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay, this is a really big shift. Okay.
yes.
Let's think.
So
So she's going to ask the mirror who's the fairest of them all.
let's try that.
Oh, okay.
And then maybe, do you think she should meet Snow White first or go to the
What
cauldron?
does the cauldron mean?
Yeah, let's. Oh, okay. Then she transforms into a
Okay.
witch. Can we?
And then they meet in the forest?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now she's a frog.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, but still
Oh my God,
loves the frog.
is still the fairest.
So
That's hilarious.
Oh, okay, so what do we do then? That was unexpected.
Because she's still an old witch. Can she go back to her normal self?
Oh, let's try that. Okay, so she's back to being young.
Okay.
Let's see. Good call.
So the old witch is not prettier than the frog. Okay, too fun.
That was really cute. Scorn.
Curse is lifted.
Okay, so
by a kiss.
yes.
Okay.
Maybe the prince meets Snowy.
Oh.
Oh, is she cursed yet? Oh, maybe she has to be cursed first by the witch. Oh, I didn't do anything.
That laugh was funny.
Yeah. I don't think they can kiss yet, but we can have them. So, no curse yet.
Okay. Who gets cursed? Snowy?
Oh, interesting. The prince? Can a prince be cursed? No. Oh, but she loves him.
Oh, she likes the prince.
Oh. So then, can she curse Snowy now? I'm stuck.
Let's see. So she likes the prince, but the prince doesn't like her.
Yes. And there's a kiss at some point, which lifts the curse. So somehow we have to get... Can we do this?
So the kiss is probably the last panel, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, well, this... No.
I was gonna say, can the prince like reject the witch? But it looks like he just kind of is uncomfortable by her advances.
Yeah. What about this? No. Huh. I feel like we've like tried all the options.
What if the witch and prince try to kiss?
Let's try that. Oh no!
Okay, so now she's upset.
And then, okay, so maybe they meet in the forest? Okay, there we go.
Oh, but she doesn't want to kiss him.
Snow White! You have to!
No. Girlfriend.
Can you... Huh.
Oh, he tells her he's the prince, and then they'll kiss, maybe.
Maybe we'll get rid of the first panel?
Okay, yeah, because we're out of panels here.
Okay, so... Oop.
Oh, good call. So now he's said, yo, I'm the prince.
And then... There.
Nice. Okay.
Wow, that was
funny.
tricky. And good call, yeah. So I guess, yeah, they had to try kissing first before meeting. Huh. That was silly. Duplicity.
A kiss and a curse.
Okay.
Does it have to be in that order?
Right. Okay, so I'll have them meet.
And try to kiss. But they won't kiss because she doesn't.
That's right. So then she'll curse him. Oh, but then... Huh. How do we complete the story?
Yeah, because they need to kiss each other.
Right. Can we...
Ooh.
What if we have... Can we have her... Oh.
Okay, a kiss.
Does that work?
But now we need a curse.
Okay, so maybe then she becomes... Maybe she becomes the witch and tries to kiss him again and he rejects her.
Okay. Nice. Okay.
This poor frog. It's always
There's a lesson here about vanity.
Right.
Kiss and a curse. Okay, cool.
Deceit.
Tiny gets a kiss.
Oh, Tiny.
Tiny?
So sweet. All right.
Oh, I see, because it's Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, I guess. Okay.
You know, it's not as simple as just putting Tiny with someone. So.
Oh, that's so mean. Poor Tiny. What did he do?
Oh, Tiny.
Tiny wants a kiss.
Maybe Tiny meets... What happens if we meet the witch? He
Oh, the
doesn't.
witch likes him. Will the witch kiss him?
Yeah, let's. Oh, but there's no cauldron to transform back. Huh.
Oh.
Can. What is the mirror? What does the mirror have to do with this? Okay, still jealous of Snow White. Oh, this is funny.
Oh. Okay,
Nice.
Tiny gets a kiss. But the witch won't kiss him?
No.
No.
Okay, so how do we get Tiny to like the witch? This is tricky.
Yeah.
Can Tiny meet more people? Tiny likes the
Oh,
prince.
Tiny likes the prince.
That's really sweet. Oh, Tiny
Well, he
likes
likes
everyone.
but the witch.
Except for the witch, yeah.
Oh, man.
How do we get you? How do we get the kiss?
Well, okay, so someone has to be tricked into kissing Tiny, basically,
Yes.
but there's no cauldron.
I'm just putting things on
Yeah.
now to see what happens.
We're experimenting here.
Yeah, this is so interesting because here there's a heart, but then here
Mhm.
there isn't.
Yeah, because Tiny's rejected her kiss. So then she curses him?
Let's see, how would she do that? Would they meet again in a forest? No.
But he has to reject her kiss first, I think.
Okay, let's try that.
Yeah. We're experimenting.
Yes. Oh.
Okay.
And then can they kiss? No. Oh.
No, she's just laughing at it. Okay, he's telling her he's Tiny.
Maybe get rid of these other panels and let's see if this helps.
Okay.
Okay, Snowy, rescue Tiny.
Is anyone in the chat gonna help us out
Yeah,
here?
what do you think?
How do we get Tiny a kiss?
Can they? Nope.
Would the prince kiss the frog?
Oh, let's find out. No. What about
Darn.
here? Oh.
Oh.
This is so tricky. Tiny, we're trying to help you. So.
Yeah, he should just kiss the witch. Come on, man.
Yeah. Witch, please. No. I think she's still angry. Can we get him to transform back? I kind of love how difficult this is. It's always so satisfying.
I'm hoping it'll make sense though once we
Right.
click it into place. Maybe the prince. What if the prince thinks that Tiny's not the frog? Does that make sense?
Let's try it. So
Trying to think about it, like in what circumstance would you kiss a frog? Because you think it's but he knows it's Tiny.
yeah.
Yeah. What if the scene was kiss instead of forest for that last
This
frame?
one?
Would he? Yeah.
No. Always.
No,
sad
he doesn't want to
frog.
kiss a frog.
I would
But he kissed the
Tiny.
frog. Well, Snow White kissed the frog, right? Because she thought it was the prince.
She did, yeah, previously.
But she doesn't want to kiss him now.
Can we? Can we? Maybe you don't need this mirror scene. I think I'll get rid of that. Unless it's important. Like, I'm wondering, what if the witch sees... Oh, what if the witch transforms Snow White? Can we have a frog kiss? Can we do like a double frog kiss at the end?
Two frogs?
Can we do that?
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Let's try. No, you have to
So she has-
transform her.
She has to be rejected by the prince, I think. So if she gets rejected by Tiny and the prince,
Yes. So
she could turn them
maybe-
both into frogs. Oh my gosh, frog kiss.
Let's try this. So then the witch will transform Prince.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wait, but then
So then we need...
oh no.
Oh.
Well, maybe Snow White will do it in a forest. Like maybe she won't know which frog is which.
Oh. she's confused about the frog. Okay.
I was so excited about my double frog hypothesis.
Oh, no, but look. So now the frog has told her he's the prince. So then now if she meets a frog, she'll kiss it.
Okay. Maybe
But it'll be tiny.
Let's go to the first panel. Maybe that's...
Yeah, maybe we can drag it. Oh my gosh, this is complicated.
Okay, so Snow White's like, okay, maybe you're a frog, so I will... No.
What about the kiss scene?
Kiss. You did it!
Nailed it.
Oh, look at these two.
Oof.
Ungrateful maiden and Prince saves Tiny.
What does ungrateful maiden mean?
Maybe there's an order where Snow White kisses the frog because there's no resolution, right? So maybe she thinks he comes back and then the next scene is... Or maybe she's turned into a frog, but Tiny rescues her. Like, he kisses her and she's ungrateful because he's not the prince.
Oh, okay. So okay, I like that. Snow White gets turned into a frog and then Tiny saves her.
Yes. Let's see. So that would involve... I'll just do this.
Oh, okay. She's got a preference.
Yes. So we'll have Snow White know which meat. Oh, but then how does she turn into a frog? Can we do this? I'm just moving things around.
Oh, yes, to make her...
Yes.
Okay, uh-huh.
So now... let's have Snow White and the prince meet.
Okay.
And then I think we need that kiss, right? We need Tiny and Snow White. Oh, no.
He doesn't want to kiss the frog.
How would this... Can they...
Oh, okay. And then she rejects him again?
Yeah, let's find out. Oh, but she's not ungrateful here. Huh. I think Prince saves Tiny. Maybe I should have done that one first. That probably would have been easier because it's we could have just swapped
I feel like
them
we're
out.
close here.
Yeah.
But ungrateful maiden.
No.
Okay, and then
How would she be ungrateful? You rescued
because he tries
her.
to kiss her again, or because she gets with the prince? I don't know. We don't have a ton of panels, but we might not need the prince to know the frog is Snow White.
Okay, let's try this. Oops. So we move this over. What do you think the last one should be?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like if there's a way for Snow White to reject
Tiny?
Tiny. Yeah, because she got with the prince maybe, and then...
Yeah, maybe... Oh, okay. So that's...
okay.
Alright, and then Prince saves Tiny. I think we have to get rid of this panel with the
Well, I
mirror.
think this might... Well, this might work if the prince then thinks Snow White's been turned into a frog. It would be like the opposite of the first one we did.
Okay, so then...
Yeah.
There we go. And then I think... we get the witch and... We need a rejection scene, I think. So let me put that in here. Just turning everyone into frogs.
Okay, cool. And then the prince could kiss Tiny the frog. Ah!
We did it!
Wow, that was tough.
That took a while.
That jumped in difficulty quite a bit.
Awesome.
The ceremony.
Oh,
Wow,
murder.
20 out of 60 crowns.
Yeah.
Ooh, murder.
Butler's rampage.
Okay, so there's some more generic.
My goodness.
Now it's like Clue.
Oh, I love that, yeah.
Let's see. Butler's rampage.
So he just kills the Duke and the Duchess?
Let's find out. It's a little bit dark.
Yeah, it is.
So they're here.
Aww. That painting in the back is creepy.
Can we... Oh, Butler, why?
Ooh.
And then
I love how nothing happened. He just instinctively wants to kill the Duke and the Duchess.
Can I do...
Okay.
Oh no. Maybe we need to do this. I feel so bad.
Yeah, this is...
Ooh,
Ooh,
we don't...
my goodness,
yeah,
okay.
definitely not advocating for this.
No, very violent.
Weapon.
Duke feels relief.
Lot of guns.
Duke feels relief, okay.
Can we, like, put down the gun and just leave it? Is that, like, an option?
Nothing happens, no
Right.
gun.
Can we... How would the...
Oh, he loves the gun.
Strange.
Oh
Yeah, so how do... Then there's only...
There's only the gun.
Yeah, there's only the
As a
gun
scene.
scene. Can we... Oh.
Oh,
Can we put the gun back?
can you repeat? Yeah, can you do the butler with the gun again?
Yeah, how do we do this? Butler, can you put the gun back? There we go.
Ah.
Okay.
Okay, that's interesting. So he takes the gun off,
Yes.
and then it's missing. Okay, cool.
Oh, I love this little bear. Even though it's a taxidermied bear, but it's... The backgrounds are very cute. Alright, Telltale.
Murderer is arrested.
Remorse. And a detective. Did you watch Knives Out, the movie?
I did, yeah.
I really loved it. That's what this makes
It's
me
very
think of.
good. I love all those murder mystery whodunit kind of films. Those are like my jam.
Mhm. Yeah, even the original, the movie The Clue is one of my favorites when I was growing up.
Yeah, with Tim Curry.
Yes.
Very good. Hmm. Yeah, definitely a classic. With all the different endings, it's kind of like this game, right? You got to figure out.
Absolutely, yeah, all the different ways in which you can solve these puzzles.
Hmm.
So I think the butler has to murder the Duke, feel remorse, and then maybe the detective comes at the end.
Okay.
Let's try
I
that.
see. So he turns himself into the detective.
Yeah. Cool. Remorse.
Yeah, they came out with a second Knives Out. I think I preferred the first one, but
Yeah, me too. The glass onion.
yeah, but it was fun. I still thought it was good. I mean, Edward Norton's always good. Value for money. Oh, okay. That was good.
Someone gets arrested.
Oh, okay. I think this is the last one in this series, so...
All right. All right, let's make it a hard one. Let's go.
So I think... Should I start with the gun again? Yeah, why does it have to be the butler every time? I'm oh no, because he loves the gun.
Oh, he's very sad
And
serving that wine.
And she doesn't want to touch
like the
it.
gun.
Okay, so maybe it does have to be... Oops, not the Duke, the butler.
Okay, he's got the motivation.
Yes.
Someone gets arrested. Okay.
And then the detective comes?
To arrest the butler?
Oh.
Ooh.
Can he... Maybe he inspects the gun? Can you do that?
Ooh. Where is the gun?
Yes.
He has to put the gun back first?
Ooh, let's find out if the butler can do that.
Mm.
Fingerprints,
Aha.
smart. And then... Can you interrogate him?
Nice. Okay, he found the evidence.
Oh, innocent. Can we do...
Oh, that's interesting.
No.
Why would he arrest the wrong person?
Right. Can we frame... How do we get innocent out of this?
Could we frame the Duke because he loves his gun? Maybe his fingerprints are on there? I don't know.
Let's try that. Duke. That's his ghost, but...
Oh yeah, because we murdered him.
There's fingerprints. How do we get fingerprints? Can we do this? Can we get your fingerprints? No.
Ah, okay, the fingerprints are on the gun. But then he should murder the Duchess then, right?
Oh, let's try that. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna move things around. So
Okay.
takes...
It's fun how you move it and then everything
It changes.
Yeah, changes a bit. Oh, so he needs to put the gun back? Or maybe the Duke can be loving on the gun in the first scene?
Let's try that. And then, oh, we need the butler to take this. So I'm gonna move this back.
And then we need to put the gun back.
Yeah, how do we... Okay, so he puts it back. And then he talks to... Innocent.
Well, I'm wondering if we dragged the Duke touching the gun to after the butler putting it back, and then the detective looks at the gun,
Okay,
and
like
the
right
Duke has
here?
the more recent fingerprints. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so now he's here. Okay, so let's move this around. So he's just put it back. The Duke has it.
And then if the detective looks at the gun, will he see the Duke's fingerprints on it?
Oh, let's try that. So I'm gonna move these here. Oh no. Oh wait, that's the butler.
Yeah, the detective. Aha. Okay.
Innocent.
Wow, complicated.
It is real, like an interesting story and framing, though, too. Like, I'm just thinking about your own work.
Absolutely.
Like, the way that you frame a story and the order in which you tell things just totally changes things up.
Oh my gosh, yes, the importance of sequence and who the characters are and what their motivations are.
Yeah.
It's really clever how that's all baked into, like, how you drag different things on the
Crown
scene.
intrigue.
I think we have time for... Do you want to do 2 more? I think we do Rivals and then Rescue,
Okay.
and then we'll take our break.
All right.
We're doing great.
Oh, this is fun. Yeah, we're getting a lot farther than I thought. Oh, 4 deaths. Goodness.
Oh, wow. Yeah, maybe there's a double revive. So, okay, we'll have a Knight and a Baron. So just like... Oh my goodness. Okay, so can we have...
The Baron doesn't like the Knight.
Right. Can we have you come back? What do we
And then
get?
he, what, does a revenge kill?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
But how do we get 4 deaths out of this?
Yeah.
Here's Baron. Just gonna bring him back.
But then we need another revive.
And then that's 3 deaths.
Would someone be like, just throw themselves off the cliff?
Oh! That's how.
Oh, you did!
I guess to go. Interesting.
Oh, that's funny.
All
I was
right.
imagining somebody throwing themselves off because
Yeah.
they were feeling remorse.
Or maybe they're being
The
chased.
queen is rescued.
Okay. So maybe there's a wedding. It loves herself. Oh.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Just herself in the bubble. Oh, the queen is not interested.
Huh. She's not interested in either of them. Maybe she's kidnapped anyway? It's really funny.
Yeah, he kidnaps her because he's heartbroken.
Yeah. Oh.
Was that a thumbs up?
Yeah, so the Baron's the evil one, but then
Oh, okay, here.
how is she rescued? Maybe
Queen is rescued.
Would someone then kidnap the Baron, or would the Queen somehow can she? Oh no, she's in jail.
Oh.
Maybe she should be
Okay.
kidnapped first.
Yeah, and could the knight then, like, kidnap the Baron? Because he's, like, upset. Oh.
Oh, they can. Oh, okay. So that was, I guess, the most simplest part. So now we need to get her to be married and also to get revenge.
Okay.
Maybe the wedding would be the Queen and.
Because she's...
Oh.
Okay. She's happy that she got saved.
Yes. Revenge.
Revenge on the Baron? All right. Okay. Very
Okay.
nice.
It's funny, like, seeing the ones that, like, are really hard and the ones where we just, like, breeze right through. So, this is very sweet. Okay.
Yeah, the fewer frames, there's less options, I guess, so we can just kind of
Secrets.
keep working through it.
I'm just curious how much there is.
Justice.
Oh, wow. There's a lot.
Yeah. I can't flip forward anymore, so maybe
The
once
ceremony.
we do
Looks
that.
like there's 60.
Mm-hmm.
So we're almost halfway. That's not bad for one playthrough.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely check this out again in the future. And, for anyone in our stream who wants to keep playing the stories, this is also, I think, we had a lot of fun, so you should check it out as well.
Absolutely. That was a ton of fun.
All right, so I think we're going to take our 5-minute break now, and then we're going to reconvene and chat with Emma and learn a little bit more about her work. So we'll see you all very soon. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone. We're back from our break. Thank you so much for joining us again for Humanities at Play. And also, it's really exciting to have with us on our stream today Dr. Emma Frances Bloomfield from University of Nevada, Las Vegas. So, Emma, I'm curious, what did you think of Storyteller?
Oh, I thought it was excellent. It was really fun how it had those different panels and the characters had different motivations, and you could sort of drag and drop and see how the story changed.
Mhm.
So it gave you a lot of creative freedom. I thought it was really clever. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like that it was pretty simple and straightforward, but then we still had, some puzzles, like some actual like difficult challenges, spread throughout. So that was really, really fun.
Definitely scaled in
Yeah.
difficulty, right? From kind of feel, okay, Adam dies, falls in love, great, and then suddenly really complicated. So
Right.
yeah, I liked it. Hmm.
So something I like to ask of all of our first-time guests on this program as sort of a way to get to know you better is like an origin story of sorts. So
Hmm.
if you could tell us more about, how you ended up in Nevada, have you always been interested in communication and science? Like, how did you get interested in all the stuff that you're interested in today?
For sure. I'm originally an East Coast girl. I'm from just outside of Philly, but I came to the West Coast for my graduate program. I went to the University of Southern California, and I was really interested in communication through my college experience in Boston. I got really interested in how people communicate, why people communicate. I think a lot of communication folks get interested in politics, so things like political messages and campaign speeches, things like that. But in my grad program, I became really interested in tensions, conflicts, and controversies that people communicate about. And a really fundamental one is the intersection of science and religion is
Mhm.
oftentimes very controversial or rife with conflicts. So my dissertation work in my PhD program became about the tension between science and religion, which informed my first book, which you mentioned at the top of the hour about communication strategies for talking to religious folks about climate change. So yeah, I think my origin story is sort of just different places moving from the East Coast to the West Coast, being interested in how people navigate really controversial or difficult identities. I think a lot of people see science and religion as oppositional or at least in tension. So I was really interested in kind of getting into that relationship and learning more about it and studying it in different contexts. I've always loved the environment. My family grew up in about 2 acres of
Oh,
forest in Pennsylvania outside of Philadelphia. And we were raised vegetarian. And
wow.
so I've just always been really interested in the environment. So that just became a central part of who I am. And then it just naturally filtered into what I wanted to study.
That's amazing. Are you still
Mhm.
vegetarian? I'm curious.
I am, yeah. So my siblings and I'm one of four.
Hmm.
We were all raised vegetarian. Two of us are still vegetarian and two are not. So
Hmm.
it's a 50-50
Sure.
right there.
I'm wondering, I never studied communication studies when I was in college, but I had several friends who did it, and I'm wondering, do you feel like when you were in high school or just like before you went to college, like how did you know what you wanted to major in? Like, did you think, oh, like I really love public speaking, or like were you like a shy public speaker? Like, what made you sort of choose this out of, I don't know, anthropology or other majors that you could have chosen?
Absolutely. So in high school, I did speech and debate.
Okay.
So I was on the debate team. So I was always interested in how to build arguments, how to be persuasive, how to communicate better, more effectively. But when I signed up for college, I had originally signed up to be a journalism
Mm.
major because I worked on the school newspaper for my high school. But my mom told me, hey, journalism's great, but it's very specific. What if you took a little bit more of a broader approach to communication? So I ended up switching to communication studies, which at my College of Northeastern still had a media track
Mm.
within it. So I wanted to not necessarily, journalism's great, obviously, but I didn't necessarily want to pigeon myself into, hey, this degree gets you this job, but I wanted a bit more flexibility and creativity. So it was definitely my speech and debate experience, my experience with the school newspaper, and then just the comm program at Northeastern was really engaging. So I switched into comm. Mhm.
How do you decide what to write about? I guess when it comes to, controversial narratives, like how do you pick like the big stories and then
Mhm.
especially I guess with your recent book, but also your other one, I think there's been a lot of like debate that's come out. So I can imagine it must be like, do you just like scour the news? Do people come to you and say, Emma, you should write about this? Like how do you how do you decide?
Yeah, I am pretty active on social media. I listen to the news. I try to just trust my gut. I tell my students this, like, trust your gut. If something seems interesting or it seems weird or you want to learn more, there's probably something interesting and worthwhile there. So I tend to find my case studies, yeah, just by reading things online or exploring. I'm thinking about I wrote a paper a few years back about the Ark encounter, which is a life-size replica of Noah's Ark in Kentucky. And I just saw an ad for it, on television. I just thought, oh my gosh, wow, they built a life-size Noah's Ark. That's so interesting. Let me, think about that or go visit it. So yeah, I think I just trust my gut and try to consume lots of different forms of media to get ideas. And then, of course, I have general areas I'm interested in terms of science and the environment. So staying up in the literature on those areas will oftentimes like pinpoint me in new directions in the field or new conversations that are happening.
Can you tell us more about your newest book that just came out, Science versus Story? I think this is really, I think the timing of this, I don't know if we planned it so it came out, just happened to come out right after your book came out,
Mhm.
or just we were lucky. But it's so exciting when we have people on to talk about books that just came out. I feel like we get like the inside scoop on everything. So
Oh,
yeah.
yes. Thank you. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Everyone can ask me any questions they want, get kind of the preview. But yeah, the book just came out last Tuesday. It's about the relationship between storytelling and science communication, and I talk about it on in terms of 4 case studies. A funny story is that when I pitched the book, it was March of 2020, and it only had 3 case
Okay.
studies: climate change, evolution, and vaccination. But then I quickly added a 4th case study of COVID-19 because of then what unfolded as I was
Yeah.
writing the rest of the book. So in that case, 4 case studies really were what are the most pressing, important topics at that moment. I really thought in terms of tensions around science, and the basic premise of the book is that some scholars, some folks think that science should be separate from storytelling, that we need to think about science as the plain, objective, communication of facts, whereas we associate stories with more of like the storyteller game, like fantastical
Hmm.
elements, fictional elements, flourishes, intrigue, and people want to keep those things separate. But my book proposes actually that science can learn a lot from storytelling strategies and incorporating narrative elements and kind of leaning in to the narrative nature that we all enjoy. We all enjoy really good stories. So I'm trying to bridge that gap that the title proposes, science versus story, and think more about a science and story approach to how we talk about controversial topics.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you do that in our book? So you have a case study. So let's say,
Mm-hmm.
if we mention climate change, like
Mm-hmm.
what do you discuss in your book about, what science or the science of climate change can learn from storytelling or, expanding upon that?
Yes, I split the book up into chapters, not based on case study, but based on narrative elements. So,
Hmm.
for example, the first chapter is all about characters and
Huh.
actions. So, I talk a little bit about the story of climate change. Doesn't tend to have a lot of characters in it. We talk about high-level processes and collectives, like the climate is changing, the temperature is rising, sea levels are rising. But we don't necessarily talk about individual people having an impact or individual people or groups who are affected by climate change. So I talk about how we can insert characters more meaningfully into the story in order to connect folks to what's happening in terms of climatic changes.
Oh, I love
For
that.
as an example, so going through the different case studies as along the lines of the different narrative elements.
Hmm. It reminds me of something I learned once when I was in college, and I was a psychology major way back when. And I forget
Great.
what the effect is, but it was when you have like one person. It's like why when you have like those commercials, it's more effective when you have like one face versus like 100 faces of children, for instance. And then I think of Greta and the
Hmm.
climate change, and she's such a huge figure, and I kind of think of her right away, but it's hard to think about other people or groups other
Hmm.
than this sort of, wider message that it's happening. So I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the theory is called in psychology, but in communication, we would call it identification. It's easier to identify, make a connection with a single person or a
Hmm.
single character, as opposed to massive groups or talking about nations or talking about collectives. So yeah, I think that's kind of leaning into that. Individual characters or a few characters can be helpful to simplify the narratives and also make more connections between the content and the audience.
Do you write about misinformation in your book at all? I'm curious. especially probably
Absolutely.
when I'm thinking about COVID-19 and how recent it was and how none of us knew at the beginning. I feel like there was so much going on and we didn't know what we
Hmm.
should do. So,
Yes, misinformation plays a really important part in my book. It's one of the opening
mm,
narratives, and the first chapter is about when Donald Trump had a press briefing about how we should ingest bleach in order to kill COVID-19, and that actually led to a lot of people calling poison control and trying to protect themselves from COVID-19 by drinking bleach, which is of course not an approved or healthy way to treat the virus. So I think about misinformation a lot as a rival story to
mm.
science. So if we have science's stories, those are often competing with or in circulation with other narratives that may not be rooted in scientific or empirical or true facts. So in thinking about them and being in competition, I want science's stories, to be a bit more better armed or better resources for folks than the stories of misinformation that circulate. But you make a really good point that in the beginning of COVID-19, we didn't really know a lot. It was a novel virus. Science was still figuring some things out. While we could apply a lot of information we already knew from science, it was still up against people trying to find explanations, more quickly and from non-scientific sources.
I guess from your point of view, how do we combat misinformation? Like I get this question a lot too, even from like people I know who say,
Mhm.
I don't have time to read the news, or there's just so much out there. Like I don't know like who to trust. Like, what do you think is the best way to really sort of get at the truth or, the information that we need that, isn't harmful and can direct us in a best path?
It's really difficult, and I sympathize with everyone who talks about how difficult it is and how everyone seems to be an expert. You don't know who to listen to. It's really tough in our media ecosystem where there's so much news, there's so much information circulating. One view is to think about individuals, right, becoming more media literate, putting the effort into fact checking things. But of course, that's difficult. People don't necessarily have the time or the knowledge or the wherewithal to check sources. Another strategy is to put that responsibility on platforms. So platforms potentially creating rules about what can be posted. There can be mechanisms for reporting accounts or even censoring accounts that are spreading misinformation. And then there's a third strategy of making the stories that information that scientists tell more appealing to compete with the misinformation that circulates. So I think all three are good. And if we use all of those tools, we can hopefully help to, dull the spread. But I think it's better to say we can navigate right and help make better decisions about which stories that we trust.
Yeah, I'm curious in a chat if people don't mind sharing, like tell us like where you get your news from, or if you have,
Absolutely.
these similar concerns about, what should I do? Like how can I tell or how do I be a better communicator? So share your stories and chat with us and Emma. Um,
Yeah, I'd love to hear them.
yeah. I'm curious, on your end, if you ever get, pushback from either, I don't know, people like I think, one thing about writing about controversial narratives or science or stories is that I think it's really interesting, but then it seems like it can be pretty divisive. So I wonder if you
Hmm.
ever, get people who say, try to direct you down one path or the other, or maybe are more combative than others.
Yeah, I think of sort of two audiences for that question. So the first is maybe colleagues or academic audiences might not like these topics because it gives kind of too much credence or too much information about alternative
Yeah.
narratives or misinformation. So some folks think it's better just ignore them or not worry about them and just focus on the science. So I can get some pushback in sort of why are you focusing on science skeptics or why are you focusing on these rival stories and kind of giving them more airtime as it were. But then in terms of members of the general public, I can sometimes get combative pushback and hate mail from folks
Oh.
who don't think I should be talking about these topics, or they don't believe in the science's right explanation for these topics. I definitely get pushback, especially on the topic of climate change, where folks don't necessarily think I'm in the right in what I'm talking about. So pushback definitely from multiple sides, but I think that in part tells us how important these topics are because of how riled up and interested people are in them.
Mhm. I think just the concept of right or wrong is so interesting when it comes to these stories or narratives because I think when it's linked to science, I feel like there's like an objective way to do things, or maybe like a more qualitative approach. So while I usually like to tell people, oh, there is no right or wrong answer, sometimes I feel like with science, depending on what field you study, like sometimes there is only right combination of chemicals, or one, explanation
Right.
for maybe how things happen scientifically. So
Hmm.
that I can see how that might be also like complicated when it comes to discussing, right or wrong, or here is like the more like authentic or objective approach to how this phenomenon works or is working.
I think that's an excellent point, and it's something I talk about in the beginning of the book is sort of what is science.
Yeah.
And we use science as a shorthand for sometimes hundreds of years of experiments and
Hmm.
processes and data and analysis that gets us to what we are pretty sure is the right answer, or as close to right as we can ever get. And of course, scientific terminology saves the word theory for something we have no evidence to refute it, like the theory of gravity or the theory of evolution, right? So we do have things where like, hey, there's nothing out there we currently know of that contradicts, this fact about reality. But, there are other things where we're still constantly in the process of collecting data and adjusting our knowledge. And that's actually why we can put so much trust in science, because it is adaptable to new information as we get it. I'm thinking about the beginning of COVID-19, where we were told we didn't have to wear masks because the droplets, right, didn't spread through the air, and then we realized no, actually they do. So we changed, right, the policy. Someone might look at that and say, oh, well, science doesn't know what it's talking about. But you could also look at it and say, no, science is a process where we're constantly refining and bettering and improving the current knowledge that we have.
I remember those days. I think I didn't wear a mask probably for the first like month or two, because people
Yep,
said, well, save them for the first responders. Like there's an
absolutely.
emergency, so save them for the people working in hospitals or who have like very close contact. And then, of course, the message changed, and all of a sudden it was, yeah, very different. So absolutely.
And it can be confusing, but it's still also really important to give folks the best information that we know at that time,
Hmm.
even if we are still undergoing, right, potential experiments and research that could change or adapt those recommendations.
So I'm curious. So where do you see people using your book? Is this for classrooms? Can like a general audience read it? Like who were you writing for when you set out to on your project?
My hope is that most people could find something useful in the book. I develop what I call narrative webs, which is a tool to help critique and build stories. So I'm hoping that classrooms might adopt it as a way to evaluate or think about storytelling. I'm also hoping that science communicators like journalists, teachers, politicians, folks that might be telling stories about science, including scientists themselves, might gain something from it. But I also want to empower everyday individuals to think about conversations that you have with friends and family, or posts that you submit on social media as stories, a part of our media ecosystem that could help, move the needle in terms of these controversial topics. So I think I would scale it. There, I'm hoping that it could be, everyday individuals, also folks who do science communication for their jobs, classrooms that might want to experiment with storytelling methods. So yeah, I'm hoping it's broadly appealing, and I tried to write it so that the academic influence, that's there, the theoretical influence is understandable quite
Hmm.
broadly. That's the hope.
We can send people to, would best place be to be like the UC Press website, or how would people, get a hold of this if they'd like to read it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of booksellers will have it now. Some of like the big name sellers online. You can get it also at the University of California Press website. If you do get it from our website, you can use a discount code event40. So that's event40, and you can get 40% off the book for joining us on the live stream today. So that would be my recommendation, but you're also available to get it. It's also available at kind of broader bookshops and online book retailers as well.
It's exciting. So
Thank you.
I kind of want to ask you, just switching gears a little bit. I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you about what you do with the Public Communication Initiative. So in your bio, I read that you were the founder and the director. So what
Mhm.
does that mean exactly? Did you just come to UNLV and say like, I don't see something, so I want to start it up? Like, what do you do with the Public Communication Initiative?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Public Communication Initiative we founded in 2020, and we primarily do workshops and trainings around communicating to the public. So a lot of groups and institutes, research centers, departments at the university want to talk to the media or want to talk to the public about their research or want to collaborate with community partners, but they might not necessarily have the skills and training in order to do so, or they might not have confidence in their skills. So we do a lot of trainings around public speaking, about translating and adapting messages, your presentation skills, just foundations of communication strategies for a lot of different interested groups. Like I said, we've done folks in Nevada at the university, but also nationwide. We've done virtual sessions for folks. And the goal is really to help build those bridges between academia or researchers and the general public. I was really interested in doing this work when I came to UNLV, and the Greenspun College of Urban Affairs, as one of its pillars, is really interested in community outreach and community engagement. So seeing that we didn't really have something at the college around communication, I got the generous support of our dean, Dean Ulmer, to create this center and this initiative. So we do have fees for the workshops, but all of those go directly into funding graduate students so they can do research and support the workshops.
That's really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you teach at UNLV? You're off this semester, right? Or
I just came back from maternity leave. Yeah, I just came back. So I teach the upper level, typically the upper level communication courses. I teach a course in persuasion. I teach a class about communication throughout history. So sort of a from Plato to social media type of all the ways that we've used communication over time. I teach a class on methods of how do we analyze communication so that we can be better communicators. I also teach classes on audience adaptation. Those are the ones that I teach primarily. I've also taught a class on public controversies and how to navigate those as well. So a lot of up 300, 400 upper level, advanced application of communication theories.
Mm-hmm. How can you tell us more about the public controversies class? Like, what is that like?
Yeah, that's a really fun class. So we talk about the first few weeks, we just kind of define what is a controversy, what makes something controversial. And then we go through themed weeks about different areas where controversies happen. So we have weeks on, controversies in education, controversies in politics, controversies in science. So we just kind of run through different areas where controversies happen. And then we end with strategies for kind of resolving and intervening in different controversies. There's controversies in technology is a huge one now, right? With things like AI and ChatGPT. And that's a fun class because every time I teach it, I update the case studies with whatever controversy, right, is currently occupying public attention.
Yeah, well, I bet as someone who studies, communication and especially in a public way, and I'm just curious to get your thoughts about AI and sort of, like the ethical and legal implications and all of that. When it comes to misinformation, I think I brought this up a couple of weeks ago with someone else on this program. The New York Times had a test where it showed you either generated or real photos of people, and I think I failed the very first photo, which was an AI generated photo of a woman, and I was just sort of like horrified, like, oh my gosh, like this person isn't real, and I thought it was. So yeah, I'm curious to get your thoughts.
Yeah, AI is interesting. I talk about it very briefly in the concluding chapter of the book, because even though it wasn't one of my 4 case studies, I think a lot of the topics I talk about are potentially relevant to AI. For example, the element of character. Is AI a character in a story, or is it a tool that a character is using, right, to achieve a goal? The lines are starting to get blurred, right, in terms of what we think of as something being intelligent or being able to be creative or to create new things, to have agency. I'm thinking about, this is maybe slightly off topic, but I'm thinking about there was that controversy over, I guess, a monkey had taken a photo of itself with someone's camera, and there was concern about, well, can the monkey have copyright over that photo, or does the photo belong to the photographer who owned the camera? Yeah, so that for me is like AI, right? Because AI is something like ChatGPT is just full of input. of data and then generates a result. So does the AI, right, have ownership over those ideas? Or is it all the ideas that it drew from? Is it the programmer who told AI how to parse all the data? I think it gets a little bit messy, which is part of what's exciting about it. And I say exciting in terms of how are we going to navigate these things, as they're probably going to become more integrated, into our society in different ways. I tend to be slightly skeptical of AI, especially because of the studies that have come out in terms of how potentially sexist and racist it can be, because the input data, right, is sexist and racist. So if you train AI on problematic data, it's going to give you problematic answers. There's also a lot of energy use that goes into AI. So as opposed to typing a question in Google versus typing a question into ChatGPT uses much more energy. So it's not very resource efficient, which of course can affect the environment negatively. So I'm kind of like cautiously skeptical, but I do think it is a communication tool that more and more people are going to be using. So my question is, how do we navigate that effectively as a society?
I love that you brought up how, ChatGPT and maybe similar applications use up so much energy, because I didn't really think about that until I moved out to Nevada, several years ago. I never really thought about my impact on the environment, other than like, of course I want to recycle and not throw like oil directly into like the disposal. But, moving
Right.
to Nevada for the first time, that's where we had like water warnings, like, don't use water on certain days. And then of
Mm-hmm.
course, I forget what the term is, but all the sort of servers, like all the space that's used to like
Mm-hmm.
hosting the cloud, or
Right.
whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is, and that sort of alarmed me, like, oh my gosh, like I never thought about all the energy and the effect on the environment that it costs to do things online, whether it's, I don't know, mining cryptocurrency or
Right.
using
Oh, yeah.
ChatGPT. Yeah.
Cryptocurrency, yeah, is very energy inefficient, right? It uses up a lot of resources. And I think that's part of new technologies, is when they first come out and we seek to adopt them, we're very critical of them. We want to do our research, want to think about what's going on. But once these things just become ingrained parts of our everyday life, it's easy for them just to become normalized. And we're not necessarily thinking about, the energy that they're using or the potential negative implications, because we just see them everywhere all the time. So this novel stage where we're still figuring it out is a good place to kind of pump the brakes and be critical, right, of these different applications.
Hmm. I'm thinking some more about AI and social media. Like I've thought about, just sort of honestly like deleting my Facebook for a while, because it just takes so long now to get to any of my friends' updates or, posts from real people and groups I care about. I feel like I get a lot of ads, first of all. And then I don't know about you. I've been getting a lot of just AI generated images of like
Mm-hmm.
people and celebrities. And it's really alarming. And I feel like, I know that these photos are fake, maybe because of the way that they're portrayed, or I know like, oh, like Angelina Jolie is, much older than this now, right? This is her from like 20 years
Right.
ago. But there might be people online who might not know that. So again, like how do we, I guess I asked you this earlier, but just thinking like, how can we tell if something's fake? Like how can we like train
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, or really, get ourselves to really critically think about what's real, what's fake, and how can I be a better judge?
For sure. Well, I think on your point about deleting Facebook, I feel you on that, because I'm sometimes on Facebook and I'm scrolling and I'm thinking, wait, I'm on here to figure out what my friends are up to, not to see ads, right, for all these different items that I'm not going to buy. But I think part of that is remembering what social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter, now X, really are, which are businesses, right?
Mm,
They're not actually here to connect us to one another and maintain our social relationships. They're here to sell our information or to sell us,
mm,
content and items. So I think being on any kind of platform like that, it's helpful to have some healthy skepticism of what we're being shown, especially on social media platforms that emphasize clicks, right, and interaction. They're going to want to give you AI generated images because it's easier, right? It's cheaper, it's quicker, and they're hopefully going to get a lot of interaction with the least amount of effort possible. So yeah, I think just being skeptical of information for sure. If you can, check out fact checking websites. Something else is, if there's a big news story, See if it's being talked about on multiple platforms, because if just one place is talking about something, it's probably not true, right? Because if it's a big enough story or newsworthy, multiple outlets are going to be talking about it. So yeah, part of that is just is being skeptical, fact checking on multiple sites. Just trust your gut check, right, on whether something's going to be true. Like for example, the age of a celebrity or a situation that a celebrity is in. Check who's posting it, right? Do you trust that particular storyteller or that source of information? A lot of these things can be, I think, checked with a little bit of just our gut and our instincts, and then going to known trusted sources, right, to verify information that you're getting.
I think those are all really good tips. So thank you for sharing those.
Yeah.
So I wanted to shift gears again because I don't think people, I'm going to bring this in. You told me
Oh,
about
yeah.
this board game recently, and I also bought it a while back, or I pre-ordered it. So this is Daybreak, which is a board game about, I guess, climate change and the environment. It was by the creators of Pandemic. And what I love is that this is a game where I feel like it's about science and it's about something that, it's a little bit controversial, but I think it's also not beating you over the head with, this is educational and we're going to learn something. It's really more, like, let's play this and access these through the format of a game. And I'm wondering if you've just found that more recently in your work as a communications person and studying science communication, just the different ways in which people are trying to be more accessible with this information and who they're reaching out to.
Yeah, gamification has become a really important part, I think, of science communication and climate change communication in particular. It's a great way to give people information, keep them active, entertained, interested in the information that they're consuming, as you said, in a way that doesn't just feel like they're being lectured to. Daybreak, in particular, I've played a few times with my husband, and it's really interesting because you start out so behind the eight ball. There's so much carbon being produced on round one. It really emphasizes the importance of, wow, we got to hit the ground running like yesterday in order to beat this game. And if you've played Pandemic, you know how quickly you can just get overwhelmed and swamped by the cubes, right, on the board. So I think Daybreak does a really good job at kind of mimicking that approach to climate change. And what's really interesting about Daybreak is they have different cards that have different potential interventions into the climate. So it's not advocating for one particular method, but just showing you like a suite of different ways that we can help take carbon out of the atmosphere, build community resilience. So I think it's a really, really interesting and great game. I only played it once or twice, but I'm interested in diving in more. But I am seeing gamification happening more and more, especially online spaces as well. There's certain games to help combat misinformation, like John Cook's game Cranky Uncle,
Oh, I don't know
where you can talk to a cranky uncle who's a climate skeptic and talk about different strategies, right, for trying to convince him. There's different games, that are incorporating climate change themes. I talk a little bit about them in the best practices chapter in my book. I also talk about just interactivity in general. For example, some climate museums are creating interactive exhibits where you can virtually experience the museum and the exhibit from the comfort of your home. Different apps that are experimenting with movement to get you to think about scientific topics. So yeah, I think this is a really important and interesting space to help people to connect with climate change, because I feel like now it's hard to find folks who aren't aware of climate change, but it's how do you move the needle and get people really interested and active and wanting to do something about the topic. And I think games can be an avenue for that.
Yeah. Well, I won't put you on a spot here, but I would love to think about an in-person event we could do at some point in Las Vegas with, these kinds of tabletop games, board games, and getting people to think about these topics with an expert or, game enthusiast.
Oh, I love that idea. And I saw you have Wingspan
I
there
do.
behind
Yeah.
Daybreak. And that's another kind of nature themed game that, even though it's not necessarily about climate change, right, it teaches you about the importance, right, of the natural environment. Wingspan's definitely a favorite in our household. So I think absolutely a gaming event where we play things like Daybreak or Wingspan, I think that would be an excellent way to tell people more about climate change and the environment.
Mm-hmm. I think even a game design workshop where you think about these issues and how do you present these stories. Like if you have something like, I want to talk to people about evolution or climate change, but I want to make it a game. I think just like we saw with Storyteller, like there are so many things that you have to consider and how things build upon one another and how your actions change depending on, what happened previously. So
Oh, we
Yeah.
need the Storyteller creator to do a DLC
Yeah.
about environmental narratives. He can call me and we'll work on it. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
We'll tag him. Make sure he sees this video.
Yes, for sure.
And welcome in, Stacy. Stacy says, I think trusting the gut instinct is difficult. I and you, Emma, have trained ourselves to know who's trustworthy in media, but a lot of people have no idea. Thank you for that comment, Stacy.
Yeah, I think that's totally right. Depending on different trainings that people have, trusting that gut maybe doesn't necessarily lead you in the right direction, or maybe can be even more confusing. But I'm hoping that gut check can also be paired with looking at other sources, comparing to different media channels and different outlets, searching for verifying information, and then checking on the credibility of the source can also work in tandem with that gut check for sure. We don't want to just rely on that. That's a good comment, Stacy. Thank you.
I'm wondering, so you said just going back to what you said earlier when I was asking about classes that you teach, and you mentioned that you teach one on persuasion. Is that right? Is misinformation part of that class? Or I'm curious, can you, tell if someone's trying too hard to get you to fall down a certain path, like that kind of thing?
We talk about the differences between ethical and unethical persuasion. And oftentimes that's, what's the goal of the persuasive activity? The goal should be to better society, right? To help improve something, to give people options. It shouldn't be, to make money or to exploit people, or to lie to someone to get them to do something, right? So yeah, we talk about sort of the different ethics involved in persuasion, because I think when people think of persuasion, they might think of, oh, I'm being coerced or I'm being manipulated. But persuasion is also about productive influence and leading people to collaboration, and to seeing different avenues, right, for making better choices. So I think the class goes into sort of both, how we can be ethical persuaders and be aware of people who might use those tools unethically.
Very cool. It makes me wish I were a student again so I could take all these classes. I'm always sad when I have educators on a stream and I like to ask, what classes do you teach? And every time I think, oh, I wish I could take this. I wish I were back in school without maybe, just sitting in on lectures and not having to do the homework part, maybe.
Well, this is part of it, right? Chatting to people and getting kind of the quick and dirty of some of these ideas.
That's right. So I wanted to ask you, Emma, just I guess moving on to sort of another question I like to ask first-time guests, and there is no right or wrong answer, at least I don't think so. But what do the humanities mean to you?
Yeah, it's a really great question. For me, the humanities is all about the study and celebration of everything that makes us human. As my book, right, probably imparts, I'm really interested in the stories that we tell about ourselves and others and our relationship to the environment. I'm interested in how we build community, a sense of self, identity, how societies are formed. I think all of those things that make us human and help us to connect with others, for me, is sort of the joy of the humanities, is thinking about how we better ourselves and better society.
I kind of just thank you for sharing that, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, you said sort of at the very start of our conversation about how you sort of grew up on this amazing 2-acre sort of
forest,
forest. And do you think that's just, I feel like this sort of influences just so much that you've done later on in life?
Oh, absolutely. I think the importance of place, especially relationships with the environment, but where you grow up regionally, can also be really impactful to you and to your story. And I very early on cultivated a sense of, we are just part of this larger world, right? With the food that we were eating in the home, and then just our relationship to the woods right outside our door, and how we navigated, right? Even getting to school through those. I think it is a very important part of foundations of how we grow up. In my first book, I spoke to members of religious communities about their relationship to the environment, and so many people told me stories about foundational memories of being in the environment, going on trips with family, being in nature. And I think that's just a really important part of being human.
I love that. Do you have any fun or upcoming exciting projects that you'd like to share with us? What's next? I guess, planning a book takes so much time. So it's okay if you don't have an idea yet, but I'm wondering if, there are things that you'd like to write about or things that you're currently working on.
Well, it sounds like we're going to be hosting a board game event.
Yes,
all
absolutely.
The environment that we need to start planning. But yeah, I'm really interested in building off this idea of narratives and thinking about the narratives we tell about the environment in popular culture. I've been studying, or at least starting to gather data about, for in particular, the drag community and how a lot of drag artists incorporate the environment into their identities. So that's something I'm interested in, is the way that environmental narratives are woven into our media and popular culture. So not necessarily scientists telling stories, but how other people participate in the stories that we hear about in terms of the environment and climate change. So that's, I think, on the docket for kind of the next big project and how I'm building on storytelling. But I'm also super interested in this gamification idea. My husband is a computer scientist and a computer programmer, so he's going to help me put the narrative web tool that I developed in the book online, so people can play around with the different features and download their own narrative webs. So I think that would be something that would be really interesting as well to share with folks and allow them to kind of adapt it to their own purposes.
That sounds awesome. Share a link when you have it ready, and we'll see if we can promote it elsewhere. I would love to check it out.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Also, it's funny that I was watching actually Great British Bake Off last night. I was crocheting, and
Great show.
I ended up switching. I think I finished the most recent season, and I saw that they had one for professionals, and I was watching season 6, and one of the challenges, I think they had to portray like a villain and a hero in like a bake. And a lot of people did, like your, I don't know, like typical sort of comic book heroes. But one team of chefs or bakers created Mother Nature versus pollution through their structure. So that was kind of cool to see. Yeah, thinking about how we tell these stories. And in this case, they did it through chocolate and bonbons.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and I think that's so true about how do we see ourselves maybe in as the villains, right, as the polluters and what we're doing to, right, Mother Nature as the hero. I think that's excellent.
Yeah, definitely check it out. So it was season 6, and then whatever episode is like the hero and villain one. That's the one where they made it.
It's really exciting to see how narrative elements just sort of structure and frame so many things, right, in our day-to-day lives, whether it's a baking, right, show competition, or how we're interacting, on social media. We see those narrative elements like heroes and villains, right, come into play a lot.
Definitely. Well, sort of as we come to the end of our time together, if anyone has any last questions for Emma, please feel free to share them in our chat, and we'll make sure to ask them before we log out today. So Emma, I wanted to ask you, what are your top 3 places or things to do in Nevada? And this doesn't have to be touristy. These are just things that you really want to shout out, or things that you like to visit or do.
Absolutely. Well, I think the first one that came to mind is I love going to the Smith Center. I have the season pass for the Broadway shows, and I love seeing just all the arts and entertainment come through locally in Las Vegas. So if people are interested, right, in entertainment or in theater and narratives, I think the Smith Center is really fun to do. I also love hiking and being outdoors. So I would say the Valley of Fire is really amazing and beautiful. It gets really hot, obviously, but I really do love walking through that area. And then I guess Valley of Fire is touristy. I know you said they don't have to be touristy, but when I think about things to do in Las Vegas, I really like, I think the third one would be the Springs Preserve, because it has just such a great combination of nature and education, being a museum. And they also have events like speakers go through that area. So I think those would probably be my top 3.
Those are really 3 great choices. And actually, you just reminded me, have you worked with the Desert Research Institute before by any chance?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I'm working on a grant project with them right now where we're looking at heat impacts to residents and vulnerable populations in Las Vegas.
Oh, that's super cool.
DRI is great. Those folks are awesome.
Well, when you talk about storytelling and science, I think that's something they're really trying to do. I think they do it through, social media really well. I think the projects that they do where they get, everyday people to contribute, to citizen science projects, or just like features about scientists. They even have the Science Distilled series. They did one recently, I think, on storytelling, and that made me think of you. So.
Oh, fabulous. Yeah, the Distilled series is great. And I support in the book citizen science projects because it helps bring audience members into the narrative, make them characters in the story, and empower them to take action. Yeah, so I think that kind of work about breaking down barriers between institutions and community members is really excellent work.
Love that. Okay, I'm really excited to read your book whenever I get the chance. So
thank you.
About all of this. Well, Emma, do you have anything else you'd like to share with us before we say goodbye to everyone?
I think I would just repeat something that we mentioned briefly before, is that I would empower everyone to be a storyteller, and think about the stories that you're telling, how you're chatting with friends and family, what you're doing on social media, the stories you're telling in your job, that we can all, be better storytellers and hopefully advocate for things that are really important to us. For me, those things are oftentimes, scientific and environmental, but whatever story, you're passionate about, tell that story and tell it, with your passion and with your experience.
I think that's a good tip to leave everyone with for sure. Okay, so again, thank you so much for joining us today for Humanities at Play. I had a lot of fun playing Storyteller with you, and of course, getting to know
It was a
you.
blast.
Yeah, getting to know you a little bit better during the second half of our program. So, again, as a reminder, this program was made possible with funding from the National Endowment for the Humanities and the United We Stand Connecting Through Culture initiative. We're going to be back this Thursday on Humanities at Play from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific, and that's Thursday, March 7th. And we're going to be here with Folklife Specialist Brad McMullen, who is from the Nevada Arts Council. I think he's technically our state folklorist, but we call him the Folklife Specialist. And so Brad is a huge gamer. He suggested that we play Coffee Talk. So we're going to be playing Coffee Talk or part of it on stream, and then chat more about his work with folklore and folk life and traditional arts around Nevada. I'm really excited to learn from him. And of course, he's just such a great and funny person. So definitely worth checking out. Don't forget, you can learn more about our programs on our website at nevadahumanities.org. If you have time, please consider taking our survey so we can get your feedback and improve our programming. You can find our past streams after a week, usually on YouTube, on our YouTube channel for Nevada Humanities. So again, Emma, let's stay in touch. I can't wait to talk to you about things that we can do in person, later this year in Las Vegas and Southern Nevada. I'm really excited. And
That'd be great.
Yeah. So thank you again, everyone, for being here, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Thanks all. Thanks, Kathleen.